In this lesson, we're going to talk about variables. So you may be wondering, what is a variable? Well, variable is just a symbol, usually a letter, that's used in algebra. You're used to multiplying numbers like 2 times 3. So this is a numeric expression. You know that 2 times 3 is 6. When you get into algebra, you may have an expression where you don't know one of the numbers. So you may be multiplying 2 times some number, but you're not sure what it is. In that case, we use what's called a variable. In this case, my variable is x. And this says 2 times x, which is just 2x. There's no multiplication symbol here because when we use variables, if we have a number times a variable, we don't have to actually put that multiplication symbol in there. It's assumed to be multiplication when there is no symbol. So this means 2 times x. X could be any number. If I'm told what number it is, then I would need to substitute that number in. If not, right now, it just means that I could substitute any number for x and then multiply to get my answer. So you might be saying, well, that's silly. Why do we use variables in algebra? Why not just continue to use numbers? So let's think about a real-world scenario for a minute. Let's say that I get paid $7 per lawn in my neighborhood to mow. So for my neighbors, I'm getting paid $7 to mow their lawn. I want to kind of calculate how much money I might make over the course of, say, 2 weeks or a month, just to see how this money is going to add up. So I might make myself a chart and say, okay, if I mow 1 lawn, that would be $7. If I mow 2 lawns, that would be 7 times 2, which is 14. If I mow 3 lawns, 7 times 3 is 21. If I mow 4 lawns, I would add $7 to get 28. And then 7 times 5 is $35. So this chart kind of gives me a rundown of how much money I'll earn based on my $7 allowance for mowing lawns. Now, let's say that I wanted to be really ambitious and mow 20 lawns for the month. And I want to figure out how much money I'm going to make. Do I continue my little chart here? Because that would take a long time. Or do I come up with an algebraic equation and say that my earnings are equal to $7 times the number of lawns that I mow? Okay, so this is an algebraic expression. I've used variables. I've used the variable m and the variable e. And whenever you write an expression or an equation using variables, you want to tell exactly what those variables stand for. So in this case, the e is my total earnings, and the m is the number of lawns mowed. But I can now use this equation that has variables to figure out how much money I would earn based on any number of lawns, because this number could change. I could substitute m for 8 and say I'm going to mow 8 lawns this week. That means that I'm going to make 7 times 8, which is $56. But next week, I have more time on my hands and I'm going to mow 20 lawns. So that means 7 times 20 is 140. I'll make $140. So as you can see, when we use variables, it leaves it open for us to substitute any number so that we can then solve the equation under different circumstances. And that's why we use variables in algebra.